Good morning, everyone. You'll have to give me a moment to take this all in. This is incredible. I'd like to start off by thanking you all for being here this morning, and a special thanks to Dana for inviting me to be here. This is a tremendous honor and a very humbling experience for myself and for my organization. I have a quick question though before we get started. Did anyone here have a chance to go to the Tech Festival yesterday? Okay, you can put up your hands. I see a couple. Oh, I see Andrea. Well, that's good. I mean, I understand that we have several dignitaries here with very, very busy, demanding schedules. But I hope that your schedules allowed you the opportunity to see and to really meet some of the innovators and thought leaders that were at the Tech Festival. It was a fantastic event. There was virtual reality, there you see blockchain, smart grids. I mean, what a time to be alive. We are witnessing tremendous technological advances. But how do we get them to the people who need them the most? The people who have contributed the least to climate change. The fishermen in Lake Victoria, whose entire livelihood will be wiped away. I mean, I'm an optimist, really. I'm not doom and gloom. I really am very optimistic. But sometimes you have to look at the cold, hard facts. By 2050, if nothing is done, in Uganda we will have zero forest cover. Zero. This isn't our grandkids' problem. This is our problem. God willing, many of us in this room will be alive at that time. Now, unfortunately, deforestation is not the most exciting conversation. But if we're to talk about energy, and specifically in the context of sub-Saharan Africa, we have to talk about forestry. Over 80% of the energy demand in sub-Saharan Africa is for cooking fuel. This has clear and direct impacts on our forests, on our flora, our fauna, our beautiful animals, and of course our people. That actually reminds me, I had the honor of taking part in the recent African Union Summit in Addis Ababa. I sat at a round table with leaders of industry and even 2 heads of state. I listened very closely to all of the speakers out of a tremendous respect. When it was my turn to speak, I spoke about humans, about people, about human dignity. I spoke about that fisherman in Lake Victoria who has to relieve himself in the lake because there's no sanitation system. There's no infrastructure. There's no electricity. We're here to discuss the energy transition, but when we're talking about many parts in sub-Saharan Africa, the transition is into having electricity, into having clean and sustainable cooking fuel. I gave a lecture at Yale University in the US 2 months ago at their School of Management. It was a great group, actually. It was a very mixed group. There were students from public health, from environmental protection, from, of course, commerce. I even had my daughter with me. Could you imagine, 7 years old, and she's already attended an MBA lecture at an Ivy League university. But there was one student in particular who stood out to me. He came up to me and he thanked me for my work. And he told me how he thought his studies, he was actually worried that his studies were for naught. He thought our problems back home were just too big. I mean, how do you solve hunger, disease, poverty, youth unemployment? And this young man understood these problems in a much deeper way than myself. He was born and raised in Kenya. I too was born in Kenya. My family sought refuge there during the war in Uganda. We later moved to Canada, where I grew up. We arrived there as refugees. Also, another thing, I don't have a background in energy at all. My undergraduate degree is in public administration, and I don't want to offend all of the honorables in the room, but I did find the study of government to be a little tiny bit boring. So I moved on and I worked in fashion and entertainment. And while that industry is thought of as vapid and shallow and vain, I really learned a lot about vision. I learned about teamwork and execution. I remember early on in my energy journey, I had dinner with two energy executives. I didn't know anything. I mean, they would ask me a question, and I would take a bite of food and chew it and be like, to kind of buy time to think, like, I had no idea what they were talking about. And I came clean, I confessed, and I shared my vision with them. And they told me that my naivete was the greatest thing I had. They said that if I had any idea how difficult these problems are to solve, I wouldn't bother. Well, now I know, and guess what? I'm still here. In fact, I'm here, which is amazing. So to go back to my question about solving youth unemployment, disease, malnutrition, the answer is collaboration, or should I say inclusion. If we're talking about energy, we should also be talking about forestry. If we're talking about technological advances, we should be talking to the local developers as well. These are the ones who are going to be taking the advances to market. If we want more women in the sector, we need to show them that there are many career paths. This is not just a man's work. We need to empower ourselves. We need to be bold. I know it's hard to be what you've never seen, which is why I'm so thankful for the opportunity to stand here in front of you. As an outlier, a young woman, a local developer, a refugee, an entrepreneur, a mother. My daughter believes in the Bakulu power philosophy. Well, she has no choice. But she repeatedly has asked me to change her last name to Bakulumpagi-Wamala, with the one caveat that I teach her how to spell it first. She's even designed her own business cards. And you know, inspiring and motivating my daughter is my job personally as a mother. To have the opportunity to stand here and set an example for the young women and men across Africa and around the world is an honor. And for that, I thank you.
Can I just ask you to return to the microphone, because also to you, one quick question, if you don't mind, because you have successfully built up your company against a great many odds, in fact. And even if you say the study of government was a teeny bit boring for you, nonetheless, I'd be very curious to know what you see as an entrepreneur as the most crucial policy step that needs to be taken in countries like Uganda, but also other countries in the developing world as they're trying to move forward with the energy transition. How can they really create what's called an enabling environment for the kind of companies and businesses and investments that are needed?
Yeah, oh, I could talk all day. And I do see my minister from Uganda, so no pressure. But I think that to use Uganda as an example, I think we have a rural electrification agency that's fantastic. We're actually developing 3 mini-grids in partnership with the Rural Electrification Agency, where they will be helping us with metering and LV distribution lines. And I think it's amazing to see the government, even be able to allow a local developer, a new company, to come in here and to work with us and to see where both of our strengths shine and to do it together. I really think that's the way forward. As an entrepreneur, I think that there's so many policies. Things like wage subsidies, things like training subsidies. If I were able to hire more people, I could go a lot faster. You know, you could see there's subsidies around the world. We have them, they have them in Canada, in Ontario specifically, where the government would say pay 60% of the salary for workers in high priority sectors for about 6 months. And the idea is that you go faster, you grow, and you're able to support, you're able to make payroll after. So I think those things would help our entrepreneurs go faster. I think Uganda's doing a great job. I think that we should see more collaboration through forestry and through other sectors. I don't think it's ever good to do things in a silo. I think that we should consider water as well, human settlement. So just more collaboration.
Thank you very, very much. Lucia Bakulumpagi-Wamala.
She said it right.
Thank you so much.